This is the Midwestern Whisper. This is Tim, and this is Whisper 89. I went camping on Tuesday the 27th and did a video, but it wasn't that great of a video, so I decided to go ahead and just do another whisper on the microphone. And I took some pictures from the movie, and we'll put them up. Although it was fall and a little cool, I was tent camping, and during the day it was quite nice. It was in the low 70s. I got down to about 55 for a low, which wasn't bad. I had several blankets and several layers of clothes, plus the fire. Fall tent camping in Iowa is almost unheard of, just because it's generally cold. But I squeezed one in there real quick. I camped alone. That was the first time I'd ever done that. And it was quite peaceful. I was in a county park some 30 miles from my home. And there are probably 150 campsites, and only about 8 were filled. I think some of those guys might have been year-round people that live in their RVs. And I, of course, was the only person tent camping. I only stayed one night. Basically because I hate sleeping on the ground. The last 2 years I've bought air mattresses, and each year they get hairline crack or a hole or something and won't hold air, so I wasn't going to buy another one for the third time. So I was forced to sleep directly on the ground inside the tent. Of course, I tried to make a little bed out of extra blankets, but it wasn't too soft. Other than sleeping on the ground, I love tent camping. I love everything about it. I love the fire, and I usually buy some firewood, but that can get expensive. They'll take one log that's maybe 2 feet long and split it into pieces, and they charge you $1 for 3 pieces. So if you keep a small fire, you might get by on 20 to 30 minutes on one piece of split wood. So I mean, to me it just is an added expense. I usually buy a little to keep the fire going, and then I try to forage my own in their surrounding timbers. Now, of course, depends on where you're at, if you're going to find any substantial amount of firewood. I'm not sure if it shows it or not on these pictures, but I didn't find any big logs, but I was able to find some branches about the size of your arm, and break them down, and it definitely helped to keep the fire going. I had an excess. often it's wet. And even the firewood that I bought, it was a little wet because we just had rain like 2 days before. I also keep usually a couple of garbage bags worth of cardboard from box meals and boxes themselves for starter to help get the fire going. Because if you've ever camped or made a fire, sometimes it's actually getting it going and keeping it going is the tough part. Once you get a good fire going and get it hot enough, it's no big deal after that, as long as you throw a piece of wood in there every once in a while. But yeah, to get it going, I didn't have any lighter fluid or anything like that. I had a lighter and I had cardboard and some dry small pieces, sticks and small branches, and then some, like I said, some bigger branches that were wet, and the firewood I bought that was a little wet. So it took me roughly an hour to really get it going, keep it going. But then once I did, no problem. You can probably see the small pot I have on the fire ring. I cook salmon in it, and I let it cook for a long time. Ocean fish or saltwater fish you can eat raw and probably not have any problems with no fear of getting a parasite or being contaminated, because the salt water kills most microorganisms. But when you eat freshwater fish, and salmon are sometimes freshwater fish, you take a much bigger risk if it's not fully cooked. And that's why if you eat a true sushi bar, or eat true sushi, like in Japan, they use ocean fish. But if you often get it like at a non-Japanese sushi bar, like a Chinese restaurant, it's usually salmon that they serve. And granted, it is marinated, which probably does kill some. The vinegar probably does kill some microorganisms, but you just take a chance. And I do it. I love sushi, but yeah, you take a chance. The night went real quick. I got there about 3 o'clock, and setting a tent up by yourself is a pain, so that took a while, and hunting up the firewood and getting everything situated. I wasn't in a big hurry either, and I was talking on the phone a little bit, but it roughly took me 2 hours to get everything situated. And I don't even really have a whole lot there. My wife always laughs when I go, even if I go like overnight to a friend's, or if I go out to the nature reserve that I like to go out to. I carry a lot of stuff with me. I always take a camera. I always take a phone and something to listen to music on, a phone, laptop, something like that. If I'm drinking, I gotta have a cooler, and I gotta, various things. I usually take a few snacks, like, trail mix that I make myself, or crackers, or peanuts. If I'm gonna be out long term, I'm real big on taking the complete meals. They're microwave meals that sit on the shelf because they're vacuum sealed. And they have a pretty good selection. I think Hormel makes them. And as their name says, it's complete meals, so that's handy, and they're pre-cooked. So if I'm looking at long term like I was there, I'll eat it right out of the container. It's room temperature, but because the fish wasn't done. And then it fell in again later and melted the handle, so I just left it in there. I think it was probably a $5 pot anyway. Okay, I finally finished up today. I obviously do a lot of videotaping and taking pictures and other archive type things. I'm big on recording the moment, and that takes up a lot of space, especially when you're talking about HD videos. So I have 3 external hard drives and a 750 gig hard drive in my computer, but even that's not enough. And so I often do it anyway. I back it up my files on DVDs and then keep them in jewel cases and then keep them in large boxes. But I had to restore my computer a month ago, and that wipes everything out. So slowly I've been putting it back on the computer, and what was on the externals could stay, but what was on the internal hard drive was erased. And it takes a long time to put back on this amount of stuff. And the reason I do it is I like to have access to all my videos and pictures and other things, and I don't want to go search for it through a box, so I put it back on. Well, anyway, that takes time, one DVD at a time, and it took me a month to get everything back on the computer, and I just finished it up just before I started this whisper. So that just gives you something of an indication of how long this, how long and how big and how much data we're talking. Sorry, taking a drink of cranberry juice. Yeah. The days are still pretty nice, although it is October 1st. A little cold, but still tolerable. Tolerable. Jeez. For t-shirts, getting a little cold for shorts now, but I'm sure by the end of this month it'll be light jacket weather. The leaves are definitely changing. I saw on a news segment that they were showing where the places in the United States were showing fall colors the most, and obviously the most northern places were already hitting it pretty well, that being Wisconsin and Minnesota, Michigan, and some of the northern New England states like Maine and Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut area, and then they projected other places. And my area was from October 15th to the end of October, but really, we're showing it now. I mean, it's mainly yellows and a little bit of orange. The darker colors really haven't started yet, but soon, and we definitely have leaves on the ground already. But since my son's been born, which was 2005, fall seems like it's been much warmer. And like I said, the reason I know this is because I take all these videos and pictures. But we're wearing t-shirts sometimes into early November. But then by the end of November, you got snow on the ground, so yeah, it goes quick. It's like we have 2 seasons now, more or less. You have the extended summer and harsh winters. Is that global warming or climate change? Yeah, pretty much seems like it to me. But yeah, I don't know. I'm also seeing a lot of signs that people predicted for the end of the world, but that can be reading into it a bit much. And I try not to take it too wholeheartedly. As, people have looked for signs of the end of the world since the beginning of the world, so. Yeah, but, okay, I'm about out of things to talk about, so I think I'll close this. And, try to, find something to do, so. Thanks for listening.